But let's pause for a second. Why does this matter so much? Why does half of Europe even care? Because Europe has always had a fascination with royalty, especially those who rewrite the rules. From Diana to Grace Kelly to Queen Maxima, Europe loves royals who feel human. And Harry? He's that prince who broke away, yet stayed royal in spirit. He carries the emotional DNA of his mother, the late Princess Diana, whose warmth and courage transcended titles. So when Harry kneels to tie Lilibet's shoe in front of It's a Small World? To many across Europe, that's not just a gesture, it's a torch passed down. The name Lilibet isn't random. It's a tribute to Queen Elizabeth II, whose childhood nickname was, of course, Lilibet. So now, imagine the emotional poetry of that. A young girl named after the monarch, born in California, celebrated at Disneyland, yet embraced by millions in Britain, Belgium, and beyond. It reminds us that names carry legacy. Lilibet isn't just a toddler on a carousel. She's a living bridge between heritage and reinvention. Europe sees that. And they feel it. Yes, they chose Disneyland. But this was no PR stunt. This was diplomacy by joy. Rather than a stiff royal photo on palace steps, we got blurry snapshots from fans, Meghan holding Lilibet's hand, Harry laughing as Archie pulls him into a Star Wars ride. It's unscripted, messy, wonderful, and that's the exact kind of realness that makes millions smile. Because people are tired of rehearsed royalty. They crave rawness, not rigidity. And this? This was beautifully raw. One particular image went viral, Harry lifting Lilibet onto his shoulders as they watched the fireworks over Sleeping Beauty's castle. That single photo felt like a fairy tale, because it was. Not the kind with glass slippers, but the kind where a father finds joy in his child's laughter. No media caption could outdo the simplicity of that moment. Millions reposted it with their own stories. This reminds me of my dad, or this made me cry today. That's not fandom, that's emotional resonance. This story isn't just about Lilibet or Harry, it's about shifting tides. When was the last time Europe came together not for a football match or a tragedy, but for a birthday? We live in a time where real connection feels rare. And then out of nowhere comes a little girl in a sparkly birthday dress and a father who once walked behind his mother's coffin, now walking beside his daughter through a theme park. That emotional arc? That's why people across borders paid attention. It reminded us that healing happens in generations. Prince Harry hasn't made a formal speech. But this birthday was, in itself, a masterpiece of quiet messaging. Through one afternoon, he said more about fatherhood, freedom, and emotional renewal than any royal statement could. He's no longer just the Duke of Sussex. He's Harry, the dad who carries popcorn for his daughter and smiles as she sings along to Let It Go. And somehow, that image did more to soften international views than any documentary. It begs the question, what kind of legacy are Harry and Meghan building? Not one of palaces, but of presence. Not one of protocol, but of parenting. For many across Europe, especially younger generations, the Sussex family now symbolizes a redefinition of royalty. Less throne, more tenderness. Less spectacle, more soul. And perhaps most beautifully, this was a glimpse of what's to come. As Lilibet grows, we'll likely see her not in tiaras but in sneakers. Not on parade floats, but maybe at school recitals, science fairs, or soccer games. And that shift is revolutionary. Europe's excitement isn't just about who she is, it's about what she represents, a new model of grace. One that doesn't need a crown to carry influence. Here's the truth, one moment. One birthday. One father's love was enough to capture a continent's heart. Because in a world growing weary of performance, authenticity shines brighter than diamonds. And the simple joy of a little girl turning 4? That's the kind of story that quietly and profoundly changes how we see the world. But what's perhaps most unexpected is how far this moment reached. The excitement didn't stop in Britain or France, it echoed through Germany, Sweden, the Netherlands, even as far as Greece and the Balkans. Not because people care about titles, but because this story felt shared. Parents in Portugal posted pictures of their own daughters in princess dresses, saying, "We see our kids in her smile." A cafe in Florence printed a photo of Harry and Lilibet and wrote on the chalkboard, "Real joy needs no crown." This wasn't the spread of a royal photo. It was the spread of something far rarer, emotional unity in a fractured time.